probably have the retail store itself, but they do not roast coffee. So they buy their coffee from a roaster. So we're an actual roaster that happens to have a retail location.
Yeah. So how do you find your sources?
So we use special importers. I've been blessed to have an amazing consultant that is like the Anthony Bourdain of coffee, that is
Nice.
has connections around the globe. But we use special importers to bring in coffees from right now over 10 different countries.
Wow. So is there kind of like coffee brokers that are out there that know
Yes.
the different places? Yeah.
Absolutely. So there's these direct trade importers that they create the relationships with the small farm, the parcel farmers, the co-ops, and so they create those relations. They bring in the coffee after harvest, and they'll have their storage. They have different facilities around the United States, but absolutely.
Okay. Are any of your coffees Hawaiian?
I would love to bring in Hawaiian coffee, but it is very expensive.
Yeah, I imagine.
Kona coffee is great,
Yeah.
but it's very expensive, and but maybe in the future.
Okay.
So when you're selecting your varieties, are you focusing on low acidity? Are you looking for just flavor? What are you looking for when you're selecting those varieties?
That's a great question. So we definitely have some of our foundational coffees that are particular blends, and those profiles, we need specific coffees to be able to make up those flavor profiles. As far as anything other than, I tend to like fruitier coffees. So I tend to purchase coffees that I love.
Okay, sure, that makes sense.
But coffee is inherently acidic. It'll have acid, it'll have bitterness, there's all these different things. But what's great about specialty grade coffee and roasting it properly, you can bring out so many beautiful cupping notes, everything from blueberries, jasmine, coconut, lime, which is actually an Ethiopian coffee that I currently have.
Oh, okay.
And this is nothing added to the coffee. This is all inherent to the soil content, the local agriculture, that varietal of bean, and it can produce all those different cupping notes.
Yeah. I've heard a lot about Ethiopian coffee, but I've never tried it.
It's pretty amazing. I will say that all coffee around the world, I think, has its uniqueness, and you can expect to get from Brazil, you can expect to get something that's very citrus, nutty, cocoa. Different regions, you can expect certain things. When it comes to African coffees, you can get a little bit of everything. It's pretty amazing.
Okay. Just depending on which region that you're in?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Depends on the region, and they're really smart now. So it started off that a lot of the coffee farmers, the commodities market wasn't great, right? Right now, I think it's trading upwards of $1.90. And not too many years back, it was, under $1. And so these farmers, when they're selling, and they're not really bringing in that much income, so they only have X amount of land, so they'll bring in different agriculture that maybe at the time is making more money. So the soil content will have some of this, let's say blueberries, or whatever it is, and that's why coffee has that cocoa content and whatnot. So now they'll actually purposefully grow outlying agriculture that infuses, through osmosis and whatnot into the coffee beans themselves. And that's how they get a lot of these different flavor profiles.
Wow. Okay. I never knew that.
So, what's your favorite? That's always the big question.
It depends
right?
on the day. You know,
Right.
it depends on the day, the time of day. I will say,
I think that's the answer that we get from everybody. The time of the day. If
You
it's
know,
past 1 o'clock, I've got to go with a little bit
How much
darker
coffee?
roast.
How much coffee do you drink a day?
you know what's crazy is I'm pretty sensitive to coffee,
Ah.
and I can only have 2 cups a day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
and not drip. I cannot do
Mm.
nitro or cold brew or drip because it tends to have a lot more caffeine content.
Mhm.
Oh.
So the concentration of it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're
Mm.
pulling a shot, it's perfect. So I can do Americanos and things like that, but 2 a
Okay.
day. That's it.
2 a day.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, for sure. Like any more than 2 cups of coffee, and I'm bouncing off the walls. I'm running all over the place. I mean,
You're
pretty
in the
much.
bathroom.
Yeah, in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely it doesn't work well with me. So yeah. But one good cup of coffee, the chef's kiss for sure.
Yeah. When I was young, it never used to bother me, but now that I'm older, it does.
More mature.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, now
yeah.
you're more
Well,
mature.
I don't know if I'll ever be mature. I'm just older. But
so
yeah.
how can we get a hold of you? Where do we find you? And we noticed online it says that you guys are reopening. But yeah, I mean, just to clarify, when is your shop open?
So currently, we are open 6:30 to 12:30 Monday through Friday. On Saturdays, we're open 8 o'clock.
7 to 4.
7 to 4. Thank you, Amy. 7 to 4, and currently we're closed on Sundays. So
Mhm.
we did temporarily close down. We're all aware that inflation is a thing, and so we closed down the cafe over the summertime. Typically, we lose.
Oh, okay.
Tucson. A lot of our winter visitors are
Mm.
gone. Our students
Mhm.
are gone. So we felt like we were going to kind of just pull back, focus on wholesale clients and
Right.
things like that. And we were ready to launch again. So at the end of December, we opened our doors back up.
Yep.
And
And your online
Congratulations.
business is open all year long, so
Yeah.
people can get your coffee.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
we do ship coffee all over the United States, which is pretty awesome. I'm not even sure how everybody hears about it.
Outstanding. Well, thank you so much for coming in today, and we look forward to hearing more from you. I'm the host of the Tucson Tasty Show, Wesley Source here, and I know I screwed up that order there. Sorry, John. But I guess
It's okay. I
Wesley
forgive you.
Source with the Tucson Tasty Show. We'll be right back after the short break. Thank you to our sponsors, Kiki Rogers of Country Financial, Viral Premium Beef, and Veteran Rescue Mission, Guys Next Door, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, and Dirty Cactus Soap, ERC Junction, Mafia Kitchen, and Stay Tasty Tucson. Welcome back to the Tucson Tasty Show. I'm your host, Wesley Source, here with Pastor John McClain of
Mhm,
Veteran
mhm,
Rescue Mission,
mhm.
Common
Yes,
Good Media Group, Common Good Radio Show. What else?
Kiki's Best Friend, The Guys Next Door, True Counseling, Home Community Services, your kitchen sink. I'm a little bit of everywhere.
So that's the short list. So thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. Happy to share.
And we're here with Sean Smiley of ERC Junction.
Yes, indeed.
And we also have Blessed Grounds and Kelly from Dirty Cactus Soap.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for
My
joining
favorite
us.
soap in the
And
world.
thank you for hanging out a little bit longer.
Absolutely.
Yep. So we're going to talk a little bit more about your coffee,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
I would like to give Kelly a little bit of time to tell us a little bit about what's going on with the Gem and Mineral Show, and then we'll come back to you, and then we'll talk to Sean about ERC Junction, and then I'll take a nap in the corner.
That'd be nice. Yeah, you want a pillow? I got one in the car. I got a sleeping bag and a pillow in the car for helping. So
I was in
hand
the
out to
military. I
unhoused
just need a
population.
warm corner.
Okay, fair enough. That's cool.
And warm is negotiable.
Yeah. Outstanding. So go ahead.
So, of course, the Gem Show, the Tucson Gem Show, and Gem and Mineral Show, started yesterday, and it's wonderful because it goes for 2 weeks, and there's a bunch of amazing things. Anybody who's a rock hound or loves crystals or gems or amazing specimens just to come and be excited about. Of course, Tucson is the only place to be. When I first moved here, they said, if you have any kind of business with rocks, gems, minerals, crystals, anything like that, and you are not in the Tucson show, you're not serious about your business. So people from all over the world.
That's a good line. I don't know who would say that, but that's a great line.
Yeah. So I bought lapis lazuli from a guy from Afghanistan, and then I made a soap to look like that, which was really fun. Right. And then there's some really amazing people at the Raining Rocks shop here on 5th and Alvernon that have invited me to do a mini gem show. And so they always show me these amazing specimens and say, oh, if you could make a soap like this, or if you could do this, and, you know, this would be really hard. And so they said one of the most amazing ones this year is watermelon tourmaline. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's going to be all the, you know, vendors from all over the world that, of course, are going to be at all the different locations, which is really amazing and fun. So you can visit all the different locations. Of course, the 22nd Street show is right down the street from my house. So that's the one I always usually go to. But then it spills over into all of the hotels and the restaurants and the everything. There's tents and it just literally goes everywhere. Yeah, it almost like spreads just organically.
It's like a city of gems and minerals. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but it's wonderful because depending on what you like, you find that corner and then you could just immerse.
What I love most about it is bringing guests from out of town to it. And they just lose their mind. Like I just brought them to Disneyland. So yeah, that's super cool.
And it's always like funny where you see like the people that take like those pictures inside like the geodes,
right?
Because they're huge, you know. Yeah. And when I saw those pictures, that's when I started making the geode soaps because I was like, everybody loves these. It's such like a fancy thing that, you know, is fun, but it's also like it's sparkly and it's almost like mysterious. And people will buy these like rocks and, you know, pay them to hit them, to break them, to see what's inside, which is so amazing. So I tried to make my soap kind of like almost like little corner of that, like, you know, in your bathroom, you know, you can have that little sparkle. Normally that's not some place that you'd normally have a rock or a gem.
That's fair.
So I try to enter that in there.
But you're supposed to use that soap, and that's the important thing. And we actually have your mocha, peppermint mocha, downstairs in our guest bathroom, and I use it all the time.
Do you sniff your hands afterwards?
I'm not talking about it.
Superstar.
What's so fun is like all the different smells. Last night, you know, I was at a church function and one of the little kids walked up to me and just sniffed me. And I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, you always smell like soap.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yes, it definitely
We always
is.
know when
Kids
Kelly
are
walks
honest.
into the
You know,
room.
they keep it honest with
Kelly's
you.
here.
So,
Well, at least it's a good smell and not a bad smell. I mean, I
Absolutely.
don't want to smell like foul onions or something, you know?
So for someone who's interested
Yes.
in checking out your product and getting some of those goodies, I definitely the most unique, the best soap I've ever seen. How can they do that?
Thank you. You can definitely go to the website, which is dirtycactus.com, or I'm sorry, dirtycactussoaps.com. And then you can go to Instagram or Facebook, which is just Dirty Cactus. And there's also a Dirty Cactus that's in Utah. So make sure you don't go to the Utah one. Dirty
we
Cactus
don't want
Soaps
that
in
one.
Tucson. Yes.
Yeah, those guys have no idea what they're doing.
I was really surprised to see that. But yes, and so I make everything with fresh local aloe. So it's all Arizona made, all Arizona inspired, and especially around the gem show. So I'm excited to see, you know, what people like this year.
Nice.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank
And so going back to the coffee, you know, that's something that you can do as well. You make the freshies and you can put their logo on it.
Yes.
And then they have a branded little piece to give out or even
So
sell
what's
there.
a freshie?
Freshie is that beautiful
I
thing.
know what it is, but
for
people listening,
everybody
so-
else
yeah.
listening, a freshie is something that smells good. I call them
Or-
smellies
It's
pretty much-
sometimes.
It's an air freshener for
Yeah, it's
your
pretty much
car,
like a
or
car
for your
for air-
cubicle,
car.
yeah, for your gym bag, for your purse, anything like that. And so I blended this this wonderful smell of like a bookstore and a coffee together. Oh, and I call it Corner Cafe, and it's so amazing. And I have these cute little shapes that look like latte cups.
How do you get
Yeah,
bookstore
and so
smell?
you can literally put like a band of like color, and you could put you can actually melt in cardstock with any kind of logo. So literally we could put the logo on there, or we can do it like with actual vinyl put on there. And so you can make them smell however you want. So yes, I have the Corner Cafe, but we could also custom design something according to a certain brew.
I feel like I'm I'm on a sales call. Do you guys want me to? Do you want me to
No, but it's awesome.
So, I mean, we have the Tucson Tasty Show smell, and
Yes.
it's the official smell of the Tucson Tasty Show, because why not? And it's apple pie, and
Yep.
I wanted to crawl inside the jar when you saved that one for last.
did.
When you made me smell all these amazing things, and my nose was broken, and then you're like, but there's this one, and she had this mason jar, and she opens it up, and I'm like, this is just, that's it, then
He had
and I don't know,
segregated everything
would you
between
agree?
maybes and
Oh, yeah.
no's,
That's
and then it was
done.
like, and that's done.
And you have one as well in your car, and hopefully it's in your car.
Yes, it is.
Outstanding. And so hanging from the mirror, you got the Tasty Show plate right here, and it's actually pretty cool because you also added the plastic fork and knife to it.
Yes.
So it has that 3D level, and it's just absolutely incredible. So thank you so much for doing those for
Well, and
us.
he might actually have in his, I don't know how many cars you have, but I know you have a new car. So he has a,
I think he has like 27
Right?
from what I.
like he's got a really nice new car.
Every time I
But
see him, he has a new car. So
He
yeah,
has
yeah.
a smiley one that I made.
I do.
Beautiful. There you go. But but you're also doing stuff with coffee, so you can do
Yes.
coffee
soap, too.
Yep, there you go, coffee soap.
That is not a bad idea.
Yeah, because I can use already used grounds, so things that you would have already thrown away, and you can actually put them in the soap so that they're a little bit scrubby, which is really great because it's good for exfoliation.
Exfoliation.
Yeah.
The word of the day.
Yeah, I
Describe
made,
that for us. No, I'm kidding. Please
Well,
don't.
I made this one soap with goat milk and them in it, and it was aggressively scrubby because apparently, like, you have to like grind it even more. But I just left it as the grounds, and I unfortunately learned the hard way how aggressively scrubby that one was.
Oh, boy.
It literally left scratches, and I was like, okay, for feet only, for feet only.
Yeah.
So I've learned that if you take it down to almost like an espresso like powder,
Yeah.
it works even better because then it's almost like a pumice instead of like a.
Yep. Beautiful. All right. So, Sean, we're going to talk about it a little bit more when we come back after the break, but we have about a minute and a half for you. Tell us about ERC.
Yeah, so ERC is the Employee Retention Credit.
Mhm.
I sell the most fun thing in the world, and that is how to get money back from the IRS. So, kind of a fun topic, right? And there's actually some news. I'll leave a little cliffhanger here for the folks listening. So, some news came out this morning that's going to be important for us to discuss. So,
Oh, boy.
Congress is talking some changes to the program.
Oh,
So we'll get to talk about that here in a minute.
Okay.
Nothing official yet, but
Exciting.
yeah, we'll talk about that. So we'd love to help businesses who had W-2 employees during 2020 and 2021
Uh-huh.
get as much money back as they are legally allowed to get from the IRS.
Right. Legally. And, and how can everybody get a hold of you?
So my first name is Sean. It's SEAN. So it's Sean at ercjunction.com. And my number is 520-576-3524.
One more time.
520-576-3524.
Perfect. And how can everybody get a hold of you, Kelly?
Definitely at dirtycactussoaps.com, or you can find me on Facebook and Instagram.
Outstanding. And we'll be right back, and we'll hear a little bit more about the coffee and a little bit more about the ERC Junction and the cliffhanger. Apparently, Congress is doing something.
Bum, bum,
Bum, bum, bum. You're right. And, well, I'm your host, and we'll be right back after the short break. Thank you to our wonderful sponsors, Kiki Rogers of Country Financial Insurance, Vera Earl Premium Beef, ERC Junction, Veteran Rescue Mission, Pitcher Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, Dirty Cactus Soap, Mafia Kitchen. And have you gotten a cannoli recently, John?
What's a cannoli?
What's a cannoli? It's a circular shell stuffed with amazing cream. It's ricotta. Whole
No, I
ricotta,
haven't.
actually, if you
I
go to
haven't got
Mafia
one
Kitchen.
recently. Mafia Kitchen. Okay, yeah, I heard they're good.
And then she sprinkles it with a little bit of her magic, which is edible glitter, and it's actually hilarious to see her when she's out.
I think I saw her at some Tucson Charity Food Festival.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when she's packing up, the entire air around her is like glittering. It's absolutely incredible to see.
And she has like glittery energy as well.
She
so,
does.
Yeah.
And but we'll be right back, and stay tasty, Tucson. And we're back to the Tucson Tasty Show. I'm your host, Wesley Source, here with Pastor John McLean, Sean Smiley, Kelly, and Blessed Grounds.
Yeah.
I
The
should
whole
probably
entire organization.
I should probably write down your name so I
Yeah.
don't mess it up on air. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Quick and easy. It's Amy.
Yeah.
Amy.
3 letters.
That is that's a common name. Pretty common.
Got it.
Yeah.
I will remember it forever now.
And you're the
I
general manager,
apologize.
right?
And you're the general manager?
I am, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
yeah, so let's talk about your coffee. So what kind of style really breaks down to the coffee and how you brew your coffee? Because there's so many different ways. And I mean, just going around Tucson and talking to the different coffee brewers and coffee roasters and everything else, they're, and I'm sure you are as well, very passionate about the way that they make the coffee. So what styles do you guys use in Blessed Grounds?
Yeah. Well, one thing, people come in and we tend to explode their boxes and break all of the coffee myths in their mind.
Yay.
So I know there's not actually an espresso blend, which is something that shocks a lot of people.
True story.
Yes. So basically, the brew method comes down to obviously the physical equipment that you're using, as well as the grind size, water to bean ratio, water temperature, and water pressure.
I can see why you're an engineer for sure.
I love numbers. I love
Yeah,
numbers,
you just
and I
sound
love
like
math.
you just did science right now.
It is. It's so interesting. It is such a craft. So, real quick, do you guys drink wine at all?
Yes.
Okay.
A
So-
smidge.
to restart Okay. No worries. We're gonna restart the whole thing.
No worries. So you can get my name right.
Yeah.
There you go.
I've been on like 10 times. I don't think we've ever done a restart.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. You've been lucky.
Ready when you are. No worries. And for everybody at home, yeah, we're restarting. That's okay.
Preparation for the 4th, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
Do you get redos on the 4th?
No.
Now back to the Tucson Tasty Show with Wesley Source and Pastor John McClain on 1030 The Voice.
Yummy, 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 I got love in my tummy and I feel like I'm loving you.
With this is Wesley Source, host of the Tucson Tasty Show, here with Pastor John McClain of Veteran Rescue Mission.
Correct.
We're here with Sean Smiley, who has some very
Yes.
hot breaking news.
Hot breaking news from Congress.
From ERC, and he's with ERC Junction. We have Callie still in the studio from Desert Cactus Soap.
Yep.
And we have Amy.
Amy, we even know her name.
Amy from Blessed Grounds.
Yes.
And this is going to be the live version, so that's great.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the coffee. So you have an amazing coffee that I'm really looking forward to trying, and there's so many different ways of roasting the coffee. Now, can you tell us about what makes your coffee and the way that you roast it and then brew it different from everybody else in Tucson? Because there's so many different ways. And everybody, I mean, we've been to coffee houses that there's coffee dripping in the background down into some kind of a carafe, and then I mean it's just crazy some of the stuff that we see around town, which is it's fun, and that's one of the things that I love about Tucson and why we talk about coffee on the Tucson Tasty Show, right? So
Yes.
go ahead, I'll let you talk now.
Yeah, there's so much to coffee. So coffee and wine are very similar. A sommelier in wine is equivalent to a Q grader or quality grader in coffee.
Okay.
Coffee is graded on a scale of 0 to 100. So anything that's going to score an 80 or above is classified as specialty grade. To put it in perspective, we have a Cup of Excellence Award winner. So out of all the coffees in the world, this specific coffee had one, and it only scored a 92.5. So it's really hard to exceed 90 in scoring. Everything else that we have in our cafe is sitting between 82 and 87. So that kind of puts it into perspective of the quality of coffees that we purchase. If you think about a large corporation that is globally, they need to serve consistency. So the easiest way, and I'm not accusing, but
Let's do it.
the easiest way to serve consistency and what most large corporations are going to have to do is to essentially burn flavor into their coffee, which is why you go to
Right.
some corporations and you, one, don't feel the caffeine, and two, it tastes very, very bitter and the flavor's just not
We're not going to talk about
specifically
that
there.
specific brand, but that's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I think everybody does.
Because we're such a specialty coffee roasting company and a small batch roaster. Jared is actually the one that roasts our coffee. So we have a 15 kilogram coffee roaster from Turkey,
Oh, wow.
and we have the ability to hook it up to a computer. So you're going to see what looks like sine and cosine waves in math, and we hook it up, and we're able to put the roast into a software and exactly replicate each roast. However, if we want to pull out some citrus and put in some chocolate, then Jared can tweak the roast and save that. And then
Oh my goodness.
there's so much to it.
Do you do Turkish coffee? We've talked about Turkish coffee before, and it's one of my favorites, actually.
Yeah, I personally actually have never made it, but we did have a lead barista. He is probably the best barista I've ever met in my life. His name is Alex. Shout out to you, Alex. He's the only employee I've ever begged to work for me. He's so good at what he does. So he's actually trained every single barista that we have. And bringing the beans into the cafe. So the way that you brew it comes down to the water pressure,
Right.
grind size, water ratio to bean ratio, and then also the temperature of the water.
Absolutely.
So we use 203 degree water. We have everything from Kyoto, which is science coffee. It is the most caffeinated coffee that you're going to find on the market, to nitro, cold brew, drip, espresso, pour over, French press. I mean, we can do all of it.
What about Istanbul coffee? Can you do I'm just pulling it out now.
I don't know.
So you
This is
explained
something-
like the rating of like the specialty and kind of like the
Oh,
quality. How do you know the difference between the like which one has caffeine, more caffeine versus less caffeine?
So the lighter roasts are going to be more caffeinated. Darker roasts are going to be less caffeinated.
Okay.
And then also before the coffee makes it into our cafe, so coffee in its most natural form is a pit of a cherry. So based on where that cherry is grown in terms of the equator and the elevation at which it's grown, it's going to bring through various roasting profiles. So when we were talking about Ethiopia, with Jared, that has a lot of like our Ethiopian bean has coconut, blueberry, jasmine, lime, strawberry, and an undertone of chocolate. So what's in those regions are going to come through in the bean. Like I have a bean from Guatemala, and the farmer was a peach farmer, but his peaches kept getting stolen. So he couldn't sustain a peach business. It's called durazno, which means peach. Once he started his coffee business, that peach flavor is still in the soil. So this coffee has a smoky peach flavor in it. So it's really
wow.
interesting.
I would like a bag of that, please.
I actually don't have any more of the
Okay.
bean. It was a
Yes.
specialty.
I would like a bag, please. Thank you.
Do you like peaches, John?
I love peaches. Yeah, for sure.
See, that's why we get along.
Yeah,
'Cause
you
I
like
love
peaches. You're a
peaches
peach
too.
guy, too.
I have.
That's the only reason we get along. Absolutely.
No, but sometimes when I travel, I literally get one of those cans of peaches from Costco, just in the light syrup, and I'll travel with this can or this jar of peaches, and my friends are like, "What's a jar of peaches for?" I'm like, "Snacks. I mean, what else would they be for?" And I'll pop it open at one point. I'm like walking around eating with the
Nice.
fork out of the
That
jar.
sounds
and it's,
delicious. Yeah.
Oh, and then you drink the juice, yeah. But you have to eat all the peaches before you drink the juice because they got to be a little drippy. Never mind.
Yeah, here's a process. Here's a
It's a
process
process.
about it. Yeah.
And it's making my mouth water, so we're not going to talk about it because we don't have John's Tasty Bites. But
Yeah.
I would be remiss, and not to interrupt you, and I apologize.
No
But this is the Tasty Bites with John, brought to you by ERC Junction and Sean Smiley. And I'm going to let you go ahead and do your introduction.
Yeah, so I got to talk with Jared, the owner, just briefly as we were kind of passing, going in and out of the studio here. So just to talk specifically about your business, do you know about how many employees you guys had in 2020 and 2021?
Because we are a small business, the most that we've ever had at one time is, I believe, 8.
Okay. So the business, there's several different ways they can qualify. There's actually 4 primary ways. One is new businesses in February of 2020 or more recently. If their revenue went down by a certain amount, if there were government mandates from our wonderful Governor Ducey back in those days, that affected the business and your ability to do business the normal way prior to COVID, or if your supply chain was interrupted due to COVID mandates. So we go through all those details. We'll verify, number one, if the business qualifies or not. If you don't, there's absolutely no cost. If you do qualify, then you can get up to $26,000 per employee back. So if you got 8
Wow.
employees, you can do the math, right? It could be a little over $200,000.
And now for the breaking news that everybody has been waiting
that's
for.
right.
The breaking
So-
news. Congress has done something.
Well, so it just came out of committee this morning. The committee, I think it was the House Ways and Means Committee, is putting it to a vote on Monday the 29th to end ERC as of January 31st this year.
Wow.
So businesses who've been sitting on the fence trying to figure out if they want to bother to do this or not, now's the time.
That's wild.
We have like a week
2 days
to
left.
get this done.
That seems a little sooner than you were anticipating,
Well,
huh?
so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
A lot of things come out of committee and
Nothing happens.
nothing happens,
Yeah.
right? So, but
Fair
it's
enough.
supposed to go to vote on the 29th of January. And if it goes through,
Yeah.
what they proposed is ending ERC as of January 31st this year.
Goodness.
Yeah.
So last opportunities, and and
So we want to move quickly. So any of you listeners out there, definitely give us a call, 520-576-3524.
yeah,
And we can talk. If you don't qualify, there's no cost. If you do qualify, there's no upfront fees. And you don't have to pay your fee until you actually get the check from the IRS.
outstanding, beautiful. Well, thank you for being here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. Actually,
Well,
it is.
it
What
may be
is,
nothing right
but
now,
yeah,
right?
fair enough. We'll see on Monday. We'll see
yeah.
if Congress can make a decision, but this
Yeah.
is about food, and we're going to leave that alone. Can't touch that.
Well, and if it stays the way the law currently is, we have until April 15th of this year to get the 2020 money,
Right.
and until April 15th of 2025 to get the 2021 money.
Fair.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Kelly,
Yes.
how can you incorporate coffee and ERC into this conversation with soap?
Well, definitely with coffee. Coffee is one of those things that everybody loves the smell, right? And so think about it. What better way to wake up in the morning than if you get in your car and you also have a fresh, smell of coffee like in your car, right? So, in the same way that apple pie is that warm, comfy feeling, the same way could be done with the coffee and the freshies, right?
It's a really good
Freshies are
idea,
great
actually.
also because coffee is kind of a strong smell. So it can, cover any feet, diaper, old French fry, smell, gym bag in the back of your car type of thing. Coffee can be a really good one, right?
Right.
But also, if you think about it, because I do logoed freshies, the really great thing about that is, people, of course, need to know about the ERC. They need to know that
Right.
this thing's here, and, why give up the money if you're owed it? Right. And so definitely we should talk about maybe doing little smiley faces and, pass them out so that
That'd be-
people can
that'd be awesome.
start seeing
That'd
it.
be
And they can
fun.
be like, wait a minute, what is that? And then they can start the conversation and send them straight to you.
Fair enough. Now, I did have a question for you, and we have 30 seconds here before we got to talk out of this segment. But you have a local artist that you're working with.
I do.
With your freshies,
Yes.
and they're being painted. And tell us a little bit about that.
She's amazing. So I have these freshies that are hearts, and they have an Arizona sunset scape on them. And so in the different smells that I'm doing, I'm putting different colors in the background, and then she's hand painting the desert kind of ombre look onto them, right? So I think I have 5 or 6 left currently, and then her and I discussed doing a nightscape one where we're going to do 10 black ones, and she's going to do some of them as the night sky, and some of them are going to look like the northern lights.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see those.
I'm so excited about that.
And those are all going to be posted on Facebook, and then you can actually buy those.
Absolutely. For the
and-
next 3 weeks at Raining Rocks, today, of course, and then the next 2 weeks, we'll be at the Mini Gem Show.
Outstanding. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you again, Amy from Blessed Grounds, for joining us. And we'll be right back after this short break for more from Kelly from Desert Cactus Soap. Thank you to our sponsors. That's Kiki Rogers of Country Financial Insurance, Bureau, Premium Beef, ERC Junction, Veteran Rescue Mission, Pitcher Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Dirty Cactus Soap, and Stay Tasty Tucson.
I got love in my tummy.
Welcome back. This is the Tucson Tasty Show, and I am your host, Wesley Source, and we're here with Pastor John McClain
Yes,
of
sir.
Veteran Rescue Mission, Common Good Media, Common Good Radio Show, Kiki's Best Friends, The Guys Next Door, and so many more hats
lot of
that
hats.
we would take up this entire segment talking about.
God
Right?
has blessed me. Yeah, and I've just owned it. Yeah, it
I
took
always
me-
see the same hat, though. I never see
I
lots
know
of hats.
that's my joke. So you took it.
Okay.
Yeah. I wear many suits
And-
with the same hat. Many uniforms. There we go. Many uniforms
good.
with the same hat.
And that's Sean Smiley sitting in the corner. Thank you very much for being here as well. And we still have Kelly with Dirty Cactus Soap, not Desert Cactus Soap, everybody. That is my bad. Dirty Cactus Soap. That's Dirty Cactus Soap.
Mhm.
Dirty Cactus Soap. There
Thank
go.
you.
Is it with an S at the end or not?
Soap and gifts.
Okay,
But
Soap and
the
Gifts.
website is Dirty Cactus Soaps.
Yeah,
Soaps.
that's what I
Ah.
wanted to make sure I understood.
Thank you.
See, I wrote it down and then I screwed it up. All right.
It was closer this time.
That's your gift. That's your superpower.
So-
you gotta roll into it.
Thank you for joining us. Now, this is the last show of this season because we've been on for officially 6 months.
Wow.
And going into February, it's going to be a brand new show. Super excited about what's coming up with the show. And you just have to tune in to see what the new segments are going to be because we have 2 new segments. We're keeping the chefs and the tasty bites, but we're adding new coffee roasters, brews and wines segment to the end, and then for the last segment, and then the first segment is going to be something that's going to be special that I'm not even going to talk about. So you just have to tune in to find out what that is.
Awesome.
Are you excited,
and,
John?
Yeah, and it'll be cool. We'll have the opportunity for people to call in and
Yes.
participate. We haven't really been inviting you guys. I'm not even going to tell you the phone number, so you don't try to call right now. But yeah, we're going to try to start integrating you guys an opportunity to talk with us, talk with the chefs, ask questions to some of the people I have on the show, so you can chat with Kelly. She's very has a very contagious personality, so she's very fun to interact with. So yeah, I'm really excited to be able to kind of reach out and touch and actually integrate our family of the listeners to be on air and have you guys be part of the show. So I think that's the part that makes me most excited.
Awesome. Yeah. And
That is exciting.
It is very exciting, and I'm really looking forward to it. And of course, you can still reach us at the Tucson Tasty Show at gmail.com. That's the Tucson Tasty Show at gmail.com if you want to reach out with questions, and we'll get those answered for you. And super excited.
Yeah.
So, and we have a very special guest on February 4th as well. That's going to be on with us. And I'm not going to tell you who that is either.
Cliffhangers left and right.
Cliffhangers.
Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie,
Possibly.
Jennifer Aniston.
No, somebody that's far more interesting for the
Salt
Tucson
Bae.
Tasty Show.
The Salt Bay.
Bam, get it up a notch. So, just in a review, I mean, we've had so many amazing chefs on and so many amazing guests, and including Sean Smiley. And thank you so much for joining us on the show and the continued support. We've had Kelly on as multiple times as well, talking about the amazing soaps that she does.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite chef that came on, though?
My favorite chef that came on. I don't know if it's like favorite chef as much as it's the dish.
The favorite food?
Yeah,
All right.
because they I mean they're all awesome.
They
Like,
are.
they're
I
all
have a
awesome.
guess what your favorite dish was, but I'll
Yeah,
wait and
you know,
see.
you know what it is.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
let's do the
for
guess.
sure.
I have a guess as well. What's your guess?
The lobster.
Yeah, that's my guess. Is very guess as well.
Well, I've made it pretty clear that definitely was my favorite. He gave me like a baby,
That was-
a human baby-sized lobster with all the fixings on it. So
Yeah, it was like an
That was
8-pound lobster.
yeah, it was
huge.
giant. It was
That was
giant.
a beautiful gift from Chef Gary Hickey of Charo.
Yeah, I'll say he's my favorite just because he brought me that. But the cool thing that I've learned just from this show and being involved with all these chefs is like, if you don't know a chef or if you don't talk to the chefs at restaurants, I would highly advise it because these chefs
you can.
are really fun characters. They are like artists. They're like almost like movie stars almost in a way because they have lots of personality, very creative, very well thought out people. I mean, I really enjoyed every single one of them.
Yeah. Another one of my favorites is Mike Elefante, because I'm Italian. I grew up with. I mean, that's my comfort food, is fresh pasta and pasta sauce. I mean, literally, that's just what it is. I mean, we make pasta sauce and it takes us all day. And when I'm feeling up to it or we have time, we do the fresh pasta as well.
You know what's been nice is knowing all the different chefs that have been on the show, to go check them out on their social media, because then you can see kind of where their passion is.
Absolutely.
You know, so you get a glimpse here on the show, but then you see what their passion is, and then you see what they're currently working on, right?
Yes.
And things that they're involved with, which I think is really awesome, because sometimes we don't always have the chance to, you know, follow back up with somebody, or you know, people fall off the radar on accident. You're like, oh wait, I wanted to go back there, or I wanted to taste this one, or I only got to taste 2 things or 3 things when I was there, but there's 15 I want to try, you know. And there's so many things that kind of have to go on rotation that sometimes when you follow them on social media, you can, you know, something pops up and you're like, oh, I have to go and try that, which is really fun.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right in regards to kind of like whether it's their social media or just kind of like the character or the narrative that we've been able to brush out on this show. Like, that's why I think of them as artists, because like they're so creative and like they're so as passionate about trying new things and making new dishes as I am about helping the unhoused population. Like, which is really cool to see that in other people. Like you with the work that you do, it's good to see other people that feel as called to what they do as I do what I do. So yeah, it's definitely
It's
been
rare
one of my
you see
favorite
those
things.
sparks these days.
Mhm.
A lot of times people are just kind of, you know, getting through it. And that's fine. You know, sometimes we have those moments, right? Like, especially after COVID, there's a whole lot of people who are just like, look, nose to the grindstone, I'm just doing it, right? But it's great to see those passions and then to ignite that through taste as well, to be like, oh my God.
So another one that did that was Obi from Mountain Oyster Club, and he brought in that taco, and it was it was all mushrooms. And even though it was all mushrooms, I swear that there was chicken in there.
Yeah,
Well,
it's really good.
To your point,
really
what was
good.
really cool about a lot of these chefs is how, you know, a lot of the things they brought in were not accidents, but they were experiments, right? They're like, oh, let's try this, let's try that, and and then it's like, wow,
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. And
incredible.
some of it they don't even serve on the menu at
Right.
their different places. They made especially for us, so that was special as well.
And then we had Matt Cable and Devin Sanner, Zio Pepe. We've had
John
executive
Hone.
sous chef Seth.
executive sous chef Seth, which apparently is very popular on the YouTube, because he's gotten the most views, 10,000 views for his little clips. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, he's fun. He's again another very engaging personality, and just like calm and chill, but just like super smooth with what he does.
Captivating.
Executive chef Danny Perez.
Well, and I loved the grilled cheese sandwiches that they made right here. You remember those?
Yeah, with John Hone.
That was amazing.
Good Gap Ministries.
And then the other one that was really incredible was Special Eats. We had Bill from Special Eats come in. He brought us in sandwiches, which were really great. And then we had hand-colored and drawn bags. They're actually hanging in my home studio. I don't know if I can really call it an office, because it's got noise dampening and everything else in it. But and I like to hide out in there because the kids can't find me. But anyways, no. But I mean, who else? I mean, we've had Mafia Kitchen. We talked about them a bunch.
Bella's Gelato was here.
Bella's Gelato, another really amazing one. I just saw her last weekend at Savor. And thank you to Laramida, excuse me. Laramida is the way that you actually pronounce it. They're being really kind and not correcting me, but it's Laramida.
It's just one word. It's not La Ramita. It's Laramida.
You know where that all came from? Actually, it's all Sean's fault. I'm going to blame you.
Yeah, as you should.
Because when he was texting it to me, that's what he wrote down.
Okay.
And I just
there was a space in there, was there? Oh.
I think we were doing talk to text, and it just picked it
Yeah,
up.
it does that. Yeah, just like when you get my talk to text messages and you wonder if I have special needs.
I was going to say,
yeah, I get it.
No, I got some interesting text messages from you.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
propositions.
No, my talk to text is horrible. Yeah, it's like it doesn't help that I talk in slang sometimes. So, yeah.
So I just remind myself he's a pastor. We're good.
Yeah,
He's a
for
pastor.
sure.
We're good.
Mine inserts random Italian words.
Beautiful.
Yeah, nice.
And so nobody else that speaks Italian is like, what the heck is this? And I'm
So you're
like,
speaking in tongues now?
yeah, for sure.
And then, I mean, we're so blessed to be able to talk to all these amazing individuals.
Yeah.
And
pulled. I mean, CP's wings. I mean,
So-
I think kind of like
Cornelius.
to pivot on it. The food truck
The food
kind of
trucks.
coalition that
Yes.
you've garnered, that you've kind of connected with,
Yes.
all the way up to the Tucson Charity Food Festival that we just
Right.
did just
So
recently.
yummy.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to actually bringing that out more, because we're going to do food festivals here in the next couple months, and we're going to be
Can't
rolling
wait.
that around town, and because it's just needed. We just need to get those people out more often, and I'm
Yeah.
really excited.
Well, I think that's really the cool thing's been nice to see is like creating a space for those food trucks.
Yes.
Like it really, it's a hustle. It's a hustle.
It is.
And to kind of, and the more you can patron and more you can support these local food trucks, like that is, if you support local, that's the epitome of it. So certainly, I've been proud of your efforts around that, brother.
Thank you. And
It's been a tasty journey.
it has been a very tasty, and I can't wait for the next season. Like I said, we've got some amazing things that are going to be rolling out, and amazing chefs coming in. And as we build out this live broadcast, it's going to be just incredible. And I can't wait to see what we do together here in the next couple weeks. I mean, it's just going to be awesome. But yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you very much for being here with us on our last of the first 6 months, the last show, or the last of the first season. And
My pleasure.
And thank you, Kelly, of Dirty Cactus Soaps
Yeah.
.com, and
We got it right.
yes, and Sean Smiley, thank you very much for joining us. And I wish you the best of luck in all of your future endeavors. Let us know how we can support you.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
a
we definitely
special thank you
appreciate you,
to Pastor John McClain, who without you, we wouldn't have this show. So I mean, thank you so much
both
for
of us.
bringing
We are a
bringing it up.
team. Me, you, and producer Tina. We are the Power Rangers. We just need 2 more Power Rangers. Yeah,
Awesome.
good.
Well, thank you to all of our amazing sponsors, and we'll catch you live next week on February 4th. Stay tasty, Tucson.